That's all that's left with you and me. You and I were sitting in the sun. Ooh. And now it seems the end it has begun. What a fall.
Hey, so little story behind this song that really taught me a very important lesson. And I know a lot of us kind of as artists, as creators, we have a sensitive side, right? When it comes to rejection and how people respond to our work, right? Fortunately for me, most of my TV library stuff, I don't get much feedback at all. Okay, maybe it's not fortunate. I mean, maybe I'd be further along. Maybe I'd be mega rich because someone was telling me from the beginning, no, you need to fix this. But I guess a lot of it was up to me to, which it's a good learning method for me to very intensely listen to what I'm doing and grow. And and there's a fear in that, right? Like I gotta be better. Or you listen back to stuff you did and hear the improvement. It's like, whew, I'm better, right? Here's a little story behind this, and it really was a big deal. It was crazy, the emotional roller coaster with this song. So anyway, so one of my publishers, they were doing kind of a project with this vibe, like I did for Waterfalls, emotional cinematic stuff with vocals. And so I wrote this song. Even this now, I never did a complete mix of all the individual stuff. This is like, doing a quick blend and then mastering it. And then I mastered it again. And then I just mastered it a third time before I uploaded this, because I don't even know if I have the original files. I'm not sure. But in the initial reception of it was really positive. Like one of the guys was joking, great, I guess I'll be listening to this all day, right? Like I was like, oh, that's nice to hear, right? And then, and then the publisher, the owner, sent me. It was one of those Instagram kind of filters where he was looking at the camera and then he opened his mouth or something, and it was like these giant cartoon tears were coming out. It felt like, okay, 2 people over there really like this song. That's great. That gives me hope for something happening with it. Now, I'll tell you this. Look, I've been doing this, as I keep saying, some people will have heard this for the first time, so I guess it doesn't hurt to say, right? But I've been doing this full time for 21 years, making a good living doing it. And I think maybe because I don't get a lot of feedback from my TV stuff, I still have some angst and anxiety, especially when I'm sending stuff off to trailer type people. Anyone that's going to give me an immediate feedback, like they're working with a client, so they have to make sure it's right for the client. They have a vision in mind that they think is right for the client. So we all try to communicate effectively on what does the end client want. Then I do my best. So it's like, first of all, did I hit the, am I in the ballpark? Number two, does anybody even like it? Do they think it sucks? I go through that pretty much every time. I want to get past that first, like, yeah, we hate it or we like it. I mean, no one said they hate it. Well, there was a somewhat recent thing where one of the guys was like, what were you thinking? I guess it was so weird to him, but generally, So this song, here's the thing. Here's what I want you to hear. Here's what I want you to get about this. The timeline of this song was, I submit it for this project. I get really great feedback, really positive, uplifting feedback. It wasn't for a specific thing at the time. So then a lot of time goes by and they'd kind of switched up their procedures. They kind of switched up some of their personnel. They kind of switched up, okay, it's like all this, they're maybe working on some stuff, maybe not as much big and epic trailer stuff, but still, still for promos. And they'd kind of, I think they've gotten overloaded with just, keeping up with customs and stuff. And then, so after a while, I was like, okay, I know things have changed, but so what's going on with the song Waterfalls I gave you guys? Me thinking, here's our plans, we're gonna put it here, and I bet it's gonna do great. And, I'm still thinking, well, I know they liked it, even if it was 2 years ago, right? This song is at least 3 years old, by the way. It was from 2018. I believe I saw it dated February 2018. Maybe a year had gone by, I don't know. And I asked about it, just, hey, what's gonna happen with that song? I was thinking that everybody liked, right? They were like, well, I don't really think it's epic enough for us. We'll ask this guy. They asked one of their other guys, and so no, it's not gonna work for him either. Right, you can have it back. And I'm thinking, this is one of the publishers that I liked working with because there was a place for some of my quirky stuff, right? And vocals, and I'd kind of honed down who I was working with. I didn't want to feel like I was wasting time because maybe what I did didn't match. I go from thinking, oh, I'm gonna keep moving forward with these guys. It seems like a good working relationship. It's probably pertinent to tell you, if this was a February 18, it was just a couple of months before all my surgery and stuff. So, when I gave it to him, it was like I was having some treatments, and it was really nice to feel like, okay, so I'm getting some feedback, I'm getting some love while I'm driving to these medical appointments, so that was at that time. But then all the surgeries and chaos and not working for 3 months, and the hell ensued. So it's like when I'm at a point of recovering, like a year after they first heard it, and that's when I got the feedback of, well, it's not really epic enough for us, you can have it back. And so me, of course, physically being at the point I was, and then just feeling like, I'm trying to come back from not working forever and on all this medical crap, and feeling like I'm just having my butt kicked, and I mean, that's putting it mildly, and then to get that feedback. And it was, to be honest, it was devastating. It wasn't just like this one song, because I mean, I try not to get caught up with one song, as you can imagine, if I've got thousands of tracks out there, it's not like I work on a track and go, oh, please everybody love it, and please save the day, and please make lots of money. It's just, you kind of just have to get in the flow, do your best, be in that moment, create, hone, make it awesome, but don't get attached to any particular one thing, right? I felt like this represented, like, there hasn't been a lot of vocal stuff that had happened for me, especially at that point. And I was thinking maybe it would be really fun and gratifying, and sort of also like a nod from the industry. Like, yeah, Todd, this thing where you've been sort of honing your vocals and your production, and maybe there's a place for it, but I'll be sort of a little artistic satisfaction. And so it went from feeling like that's the beginning of that with some vocals to, sorry, no one cares, we don't want it. I know two of us said we liked it, possibly even loved it, but never mind, we don't want it. And congratulations, this is just the continuation of your illness kicking your ass, right? So it just felt like it felt really devastating. Is that the end? Is that the ending? No. Here's the deal. Sometime, I think it was last year. I mean, the fact is, even after that publishing company still was calling me to do work and still calling me to do stuff with the vocals. And I just thought I was done. Like, I've been left behind. Like, while I've been laying in the hospital, and while I've been laying in this chair, while I've been out of my head with pain meds, that just the world has left me behind. I got left behind. I got screwed over twice. I got screwed over by thing came and screwed me over, destroyed part of my life and part of my body, and then now it's destroyed part of my career. It just felt like such darkness. But the fact is, now where I am, 2021, 3 years after that song, about 2 years after feeling that my world's gone to hell. You know, I'm screwed. I've been left behind. I'm just a joke. I'm just a schmuck. I just do TV stuff, and here we are. Gone from that to, I've worked with them more than ever. I work with one of the third guy. They said, hey, do you want this? And apparently it was like, no, he doesn't want it either. Well, I worked with that guy on a good number of custom things. And I still feel like I get love and respect from this publishing company. So it was so weird and unpredictable. Like, to me, what went down with the song, it just felt like, well, they liked it in 2018, but by 2019, my mind says, well, now they've had so many people come in and start working with them that are just really uber talented, and now I got left behind. I'm just gonna have to put my tail between my legs and just stay in my lane and just do my TV thing, and hopefully don't lose that. I'm like, God. But since then, I've gotten placements with them, I've gotten paid, good things have happened. So what I know it means is that if you get rejected about any particular one track, or one project, that's not someone saying, well, we don't like you, we don't like your music, you probably smell funny, you have no personality, and you probably are sad and lonely and can't get a partner, or just like you just imagine, like, God, do I suck? It's like one person not liking something I do can make me feel like, that's it, I suck. Why do I give so much power to that, right? This thing, I didn't think I was being overly sensitive about it. I just thought it was, well, they liked it, they liked the vibe, they liked what I was doing. Then over the course of a year, while I was still dealing with other stuff, my physical stuff and emergency surgeries and all the terrible stuff that happened, I thought I included that in part of my sort of decision I had made about my judging of how it happened. I said I was left behind. And it was absolutely devastating. But it was just this one song. For some reason, it doesn't mean they changed their mind. I think it just meant what they're doing now, they didn't think there was a place for it. I just went so dark and deep and tragic with it, but it didn't mean that at all. What is my point? The feeling of rejection sucks. But when it comes down to it, someone not wanting or liking a particular piece of music isn't necessarily a judgment on you or your ability. It just means that one particular thing didn't match what they needed. And that is the nature of, like, when you're doing stuff, custom stuff for people that they have a vision in mind. You do your best to match what the publisher and the client wants, and then they may have other people work on it. Ultimately, it comes down to what works best, what serves the visual, So I'm happy to report, in the end, everything turned out great. I started working with them again, doing some custom stuff, doing vocals, doing stuff where I'm hearing great feedback from I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that work there. All 5 of them giving me some really nice positive feedback and compliments. And so clearly I was mistaken, and I'm telling you, that hurt, that sucked. And I'm very happy that it wasn't the way I thought it was. But you see what I'm saying? And I listened back to this song, and I think it's nice. Did you see did you see where I rotated it and made the MIDI into waterfall? Did you, right? Clever. So anyway, that was my point. The point about rejection. I've gotten stuff for other trailer companies that has not gotten licensed for trailers or promos, but there's some of that stuff gets used a lot on TV. I guess that just means I didn't really nail the trailer factor, or they're too old, they're dated, like a lot of my trailer stuff. I started doing like 2014, 2015. I was probably a little more intense about it back then, and that's like, what, 6 years ago? But it was good quality, sort of epic orchestral. It just didn't match. I mean, I came close, like where you get quotes, you're doing custom revisions back and forth with the publisher and going back and forth with the client, and just like you get that close, but it's like, well, that could have been, it could have been thousands and thousands of dollars. It turns out it was nothing, because it didn't go through. it doesn't mean all that stuff sucks. It just means it didn't hit the nail on the head back then. And maybe now, I don't know if it ever will, if it's that old, though I have had some stuff, I think I had at least a 3-year-old track get licensed on Amazon, and a 3-year-old, maybe a 4-year-old track get licensed for a different Amazon movie, right? Or maybe it was Netflix. I think it was Netflix. Rejection sucks. The feeling of it is devastating. It's just soul sucking. But I guess the point is, just know it's never about like you. They're not like going, oh, it's Todd. Well, he sucks. He smells funny. He says he likes humor, but honestly, he bores me to tears, and like he's. Like, I could just go so dark with, why didn't they like, do they hate me? What's going on here? The nature of this business, if you're like me, it's a challenge. It is a weird challenge of mine. I think because early on in my career, I turned in some stuff like for my pop song thing. I did some stuff that they loved and they offered me a publishing deal. And then I did some other stuff that I thought was equally as good. And they just really did not like it at all. And it essentially cost me, I think, the publishing deal, which at that time I felt like, oh, I've done it, I'm making it, and it was like, I was in my mid-20s, I think, and it just felt like, this is it, this is the start, This is back when there was a record business, and it just felt like, this is it, this is the start. So when things fell apart, it just felt so devastating, like I'm screwed, and then it was like, it was a while longer, it was 6, 7, it was years later before I got this thing going on. And the point being, I think I'd lost faith in my ability to judge my own music. It made me paranoid, like, well, yeah, I like it, but what if no one else likes it? How do I know? I thought that stuff was good, and they hated it, and they were like, oh, it's boring. I'm like, what? Oh my God, I thought it was good, and so look, it was early on. Clearly I had stuff to learn, and I thought, then I realized, well, I think I had the musicality of, I still think the fact I did some demos on their gear and their great sounds on their setup, and then I did the follow-up demo on my little rinky-dink thing, and I wasn't thinking in terms of the sound and the sonics and the actual how hard the drums hit and all stuff. I was just doing what I could with what I had, which was really very subpar, and maybe that was a part of it too. But anyway, do you get what I'm saying? So we get that quick wrap up. Quick wrap up again is that this song Waterfalls, which I think is nice. I like it. Gave it to a publisher. Got really great feedback. They liked it. They seemed like they loved it. And then go through some medical stuff, right? And then a year later, I'm like, hey, what's going on with the song? And they were like, oh, first it was like, oh, let me see what the owner thinks. I'm like, wait, what? First, that was like, that shot one goes across the bow, like, what? And then it was like, yeah, it's not real. We don't think it's epic enough for us. Let me ask this guy. It was like shot number 2. Let me ask this guy. No, he doesn't want it either. So it was like strike 3, you're out. But went from there to some months later, they're calling me. I'm working with them. When I'm thinking, that's it. They hate me. I'm left behind. They don't like my crap, but I've been left behind. Well, that's it. Well, now what? Now what? What does that mean? But then a few months later, they started calling me again, and I do stuff here and there, and I've done some customs that have gone through, made some good money, and I think I fulfill a role with these different publishers, using that kind of thing, the songwriting and the vocals and the lyrics, right? So the lesson would be, even though I wouldn't have said, I couldn't have talked about this before this happened, because it's like logically, I just went, well, this is what that means. At first they loved it, then they said, well, they don't like it, you can have it back. Not even like, well, we don't know, but we can put it on this project. It was just like, you can have it back. We don't even want anything to do with it. Oh, stabbed in the heart, So I think that was a really important lesson for me to learn. And if you're sensitive about feedback and rejection, just please keep that in mind. Don't let it be so devastating, because it can mean like, well, you're not going to be working with them right now, or this isn't, a publisher's maybe not a good match for you, and that can really suck. That can hurt. What you need to do is not shoehorn your stuff with a publisher that probably not going to use it, or they just don't favor it. What you need is ideally is to work with people that like you, that like and love you. They love your music. They love what you do. They know they can call you when they need this or this or this. And they know you're the dude or the lady, you know, the dude lady. And that's what you want. Ultimately, you want a good match. You want to be a good match with them, a good match with their clients, right? So that's it. End of story, end of lesson. I was thinking I wanted to bribe you. I was thinking I would offer this song as a download. If you'll allow me to keep you up to date on my course, which I can honestly say it's Monday, April 19th, and I'm really honing in because I've figured out how I want to structure it. I've got it worked out pretty much what I want to do. And so I can actually honestly say I can be launching very soon. So and I still will be I want to do a founding member launch, and it's going to be the lowest price that it's ever going to be. My goal is to get it building, start building everything about the membership and building any additional content with your feedback. It's going to have like weekly composing challenges. We're going to have a place where you can talk about your different assignments based on what's in the actual course. We're going to have, I call it the front lines, where I could say, here's an assignment based on a real world assignment that I've had, you know, so you can say, well, this is some reality, you know, something that you might need to be prepared for, and those kind of things. And oh my gosh, I'm very excited. I'm really getting the vision for it. And so I invite you to sign up and be on the actual email list. So when I release to you, specifically to my email list, I plan on doing even cheaper than the rollout price. That's going to be it might be at the same time when I'm reaching people that haven't signed up yet, you know, maybe through ads or whatever. But if you're a founding member and you get it through the email, I'm going to offer you a special founding member, like founding member. I don't even know what to call it, you know, and it's going to be great. I really feel like this is going to be great for learning and great for personalizing it for my crew, you know, the people that are interested in what I'm doing. I want to make it perfect and really have an impact for you. That is really where my heart is on this, and I'm excited. I'm excited where I've kind of landed with it. I've been working on the membership, the course, and trying to tighten things up and get it to where my point of having it for launch for founding members is that I've got so much stuff already, but to add to it and to hone it and to create what's going to be special about the membership requires people being in there. And I would rather start that with a smaller crew of enthusiastic composers. I think to start off with, I can do it like weekly, you know, weekly new videos in the membership area, making sure that I'm really personalizing it. And, you know, for the nature of the people that I've already found, like, okay, here's my crew, you know, here's my crew. The people that say, yeah, I'm not finding what you're doing. You know, they say, you know, everybody's doing trailer stuff, which we do cover. And of course it's sexy and big. It's giant, epic and sexy and big. Maybe that's a title. TV land, not everything is trailers. I mean, maybe cooking shows have become very epic orchestral drama, but you know, Access Hollywood's not going to use all trailer music. You know, talk shows aren't going to use all trailer music that sounds like something from Aquaman, right? News shows like 48 Hours, they don't want everything to be, you know, you can't have a stomping, pounding trailer thing going well. And really what they need is what we've covered, minimal mystery, right? A reality show that's got a light moment, they need some light comedy. They're not going to be like, well, because it's cool and sexy, we want something giant and sexy and trailery and epic and orchestral. Like, there's so many more needs. There's so many more needs that I cover in my own catalog that I want to make sure you understand and you can sure it's in your catalog, right? So I don't know if people don't care, they don't think about it, or they, you know, honestly, a lot of people don't even realize there's music in some of these shows, you know. So figure out if I can make it easy enough to offer this song. Regardless, please take the opportunity to now to click below and make sure you're linked up so that when I start sending out the first emails, which will be very soon, you'll get in on the founding member price. Cool? Cool. Now I got to edit this down on me blabbing for 30 minutes. Cool. All right then. I'm excited. I hope to see you in the Production Music Club. Production Music Club, hand in hand with Media Music Mastery course. It's a package. It's coming very soon, and I'm nerding out. I'm very excited. All right. See you in the next one.